Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your buddy Will from the WhatsUpInTheSky37 channel or www.whatsupinthesky.com, and you are at the RockNest number 4 video. I have done parts 1, 2, and 3 so far, and they were successful, uploaded. These things take about 10 hours to upload each. So I wonder, what I'm going to try and do is make a longer one for everybody so you don't have to go through 1, 2, 3, 4 and make it on the YouTube video thing, but we'll see. But if you haven't watched the other videos, go back and start at 1. You're going to get my whole esoteric type explanation and my whole philosophy on Mars and what I think. And it just goes right along, and we're going to go ahead with it. This one, you get some neat things like the dog statue, more what seems to be just, you know, basic stuff that's been thrown around, strewn around. Well, an area that looks to seem to have water up at top of it, and you're going to see I've got it kind of filled in with the light stuff at the bottom of the mountain, or maybe like a little reservoir where down under the sand there's water there. It keeps the sand damp. But let's go ahead and get started with it. I'm going to go ahead and pull off the colors, except for some of it, and let's get started. We'll start up here at the top and move right along with what's off. See, this stuff's pretty far in the distance, so I don't want to go in it too much because there's not much, the resolution on it isn't wonderful. Now let me go ahead and do what I did for the last one. We'll do it here too. Let's see if we can find any anomalies up at the top of this. What I did at the last picture was just here. Oh, I still have it on fixed from last time. Let's put it back on normal. And we're going to basically just hit this one quick, hit the background copy, cancel, and then we're going to go tone. Alright, so that basically gives it more of the tone that we see here. You know what, let me go ahead and make that a little further down. Undo auto tone. Let me make it all the way down plus past what looks like some water here. And then we can take it off as we go back and do the other. Alright, oop. Image auto tone. And basically that's Photoshop going through and pulling in the tone that it sees in its own eyes. This picture was already white balanced by NASA, which means that they made it look like it was here on Earth. That's what they claim. The computers, I think, just take off that color of the rover that's added by the rover, that oranginess. But let's take a look up on here, see if we can see anything on the mountain that's odd or any anomalies. Just a very beautiful spot. Oop, I'm starting to move it away. Let me do undo move. Alright, let me move some of this stuff around. I should have done this before the video. Okay, here we are. So this here is kind of interesting to me. It's kind of like on the shoreline here, and it almost looks like it's a structure of some sort, but it has sand or some planks or something going up to it. Let me make it a little bit bigger on the screen. You can see it also has a big, huge circle in it, like resolute. See that? And this has got to be fairly huge considering how far away it is, and it's a perfect circle with the middle in it. And as it comes here, it's kind of curved off. It's definitely seems to have some sort of ramp or something going up into it, down from this really what looks like wet soil up to it. Just very interesting. Let me see if we can pull that out a little bit more somehow. I keep doing that. I need to get back to here. Alright, stop doing that. Okay, here we go. Alright. You know what? Let me do it for this whole thing because there's some interesting stuff right there too. Image. I wonder what the auto color does. It makes it a little bit darker. Oh, you know what? That does pull it out a little bit more. See how you can see really good that circle now? Let me make it really big on the screen. It's going to get pretty blurry here. And if you want to go pull this up and don't want to down the big file, my buddy on here talks about the Gigapan version. There's one that gets really good. The billion, I think it's actually on nasa.gov. There's a billion pixel version of this that has a little bit better resolution. I'm doing it with Photoshop because I can add the color and stuff like that, do all this stuff I can't do with that version, but fairly interesting. I'm not sure how good you'll see this stuff because I don't think you can adjust the contrast and things, but you could take screenshots and do it that way. But as we look up the mountain, it does seem to have some interesting, just when you give it the color and take that color and change it, it does have some interesting curves and stuff like that. Not much more. Let me go back here. Step backwards. This too is cool. I mean, hit comment. What do you guys think about that? I didn't see that before I did that. I just started. I noticed that was there, but not in that capacity. And we'll just see here up the mountain. This seems just interesting. Some of the rock formations, how it lands, and I don't know how sometimes, if this was all just natural, how they make these perfect spheres, things that look like them. But I think anybody who's watching this pretty much knows. If you got to point four by now, we're pretty much on agreement that we think something's going on Mars. There's some sort of life or something along those lines. At least it was there, we could say. And my buddy Reality Change, check his channel out. He's got some good videos, and he sees a bunch of people laying out and hanging out by the water here. So he's got some good videos on that. His the way he pulls them out is a little bit better than the way I do it, so it's harder for me to see on here and actually give you something other than me speculating that it's people suntanning. So, but the water here, let me make sure I don't have anything. Yeah, this is the actual color of what seems to be, water. And check out some of these anomalies as we go back. Just interesting. Let me see what happens. This is the actual color brightened up a little bit, and that's it, which is a little bit darker when we did the auto tone. It seems to be a little, see where as it gets lower and lower, the sand, it gets darker. So I'm thinking it's either a puddle of water here or it's sand that has been very damped and it's changed the color of it, and it possibly is still that now, still has the water now. So that would also be an area where then if there is water that's accessible or easily dug out, there would be maybe some movement and life. So check out Reality Changes videos for that. And as we come across the shoreline here, just checking it out, seeing if there's any anomalies or anything else there. At one time I had seen what looked like an outline of a surfboard type shape, which could have been maybe like a boat or something. I'm not sure if I'm going to see that again. Sometimes you see stuff when you pull out, when you go through the bands of like the exposure and stuff like that, you see a lot differently. You can pull stuff out differently. Let me pull it out a little bit too so I can see. We took a look at this, well, we took a look at over here, this one up here. Well, actually that's further than that. We didn't take a look at this. This one right here seems to have, let's look else. Here it is right there. There's a shape. It's got that surfboard shape. Now this is the alignment mark. It just happens to line up. But see how it's got that perfectly rounded there? Let me see. And it actually goes down the hill here some. And has these little cuts to going down. Let me see if I can't. Alright, see that there? You can see it there, and you can kind of see how it S's down. Let me back up a little bit. Let me see what auto color does. About the same. Let me see what put auto tone on that. And auto contrast. If anything, it shows how blue it can be pulled out. Look at that. Look how blue that is there. Mars has, if you look at some of the other pictures from the high rise, I have some great videos from the high rise. There's some beautiful color there. So that was the surfboard looking thing. I thought that was just interesting that how just the color, how perfect that is. I mean, that I would say that's most likely a perfect oval here on this side. And we really can't see over here because it looks like it's built up. So that would have been laid out in stone or something and put there. I mean, in order for us to pick it up on the camera that far away from the rover, that's pretty amazing. And you see how just changing the contrast brings that out more so you can see it. So I'm glad I saw that and found that for you guys. And with a lot of this rubble here and a lot of this debris, we're not going to be able to, I'm going to pull it back to how it was. We're not going to get the greatest contrast on it. Let's see. What have I did here? Alright, I lost the contrast on that. This is going to probably happen a couple times in this video. I don't know why that's been happening with this pad here. But let me go ahead and revert this to when I pulled it up. Alright, revert. That way we're going to get rid of that color there. And let me drop. So I'm going to leave the color on here so you can actually see some of these. I did have that marked right there. Alright, hopefully we're going to get this mouse pad back here in a second. Let's see what we got. No? Well, we can deal with this first part without it. Alright. Now hopefully it can't say it finds it. But with the color, yeah, here we go. Perfect. Alright. Sorry about that. With the color here, you can see the circular patterns and how it comes and shapes off. And just adding that little bit of purples does give it a heck of a lot of a difference. And let me move off the rest of it. Just leave the purple there so you can see that. Also, you can check the anomalies out there at the top if you want. If you this isn't a 1080 HD, so if you're at a spot where you see something you want to hit the pause. It's going to look great when you hit pause. So, and we're going to take a look at some of these too. Check out these rocks down here. Let's just look at this whole area as we go across, since we'll go straight from here since we looked at the water area. So let me take off some of the purple and then take a look at what we're actually looking at here. We're looking at the other side of what is seems to be a pyramid. And if you watch the other video here in the middle, or at least a built-up mound that was very ornate, had amazing things in it. If you go check out number 3, you're going to see a lot of them. And you can see how the fascia still keeps on going here. And a lot of it is just strewn all about the place. It's everywhere. Um, and it looks like I had accidentally done it. So, but right here, there's pretty neat stuff just in this one area. This is some of the best carved stuff. Right here, let me move that out of the way. You're gonna see if you that was on the last one. This is what seems to be a, some sort of dinosaur reptile type face with eyes, the mouth open here, the jaw. And look how next to it here, you've just got, more straight lines, and they're just coming on down. And what was neat here is if you can see this, this looks like bones to some sort of machine or something that had a tail. See the perfect spin on this? And let me pull that up big so we can see it. And we're going to go ahead and mark that off. And we're going to do some, move that one out of the way. Don't mind the pink purple there. I don't know how that got on there. But that's it brightened up a little bit. But we're going to do something even better. We're going to do the tone on it. See how that looks. The auto tone. Alright. Image. Let me put it back on the background. Image, auto tone, and see there. It has a little bit better. All right, so look here. See how this comes up and it's perfectly rounded off like a, touchdown there. What is that? That's a whole different color than the rest of this. And this seems to be some sort of bone structure or something. Don't mind that purple. I don't know what I had actually got that on which layer. I must have gotten that on the bottom layer when I was doing it. But you can see in here just how perfect the structure, whatever it is, either was designed or was alive at one time, and just this was its final resting place. And with everything else, with the way everything else is strewn about, I'm thinking this has to be pretty big or pretty heavy, or this was blown into this area during some of these storms. But check it out. I'm thinking this could be a head up here with a mouth and eyes. Down here would be the vertebrae. I'm just not sure. This seems to have a lot of either that or there's more pipes and stuff coming off from the fascia. What was back under this would have been interesting to find out. Let me back off and step backwards. So just a very cool spot. And let me put with it brightened up a little bit. Just too cool. I like that one. That was one of my favorite. That looks like a little guy there. We looked at all this stuff over there. So let me put the grids back on. So we see the grid. And as we keep going, see how that's just folded up like it was metal or something and just bent right on up? So as we move over here to what's on top of here, there seems to be some bowl type things right here. See it up here. And then more of these just squiggly line type things with hooks. They're in this picture a whole lot. And here what seems to be more of the fascia with more of the holes in them. You saw that down there. And right here, more. See how it's cut differently? See how it's cut? Basically, you've got the straight back that fits into it. And this one actually comes forward and goes straight down. That cuts the block off. And it has what's attached to it, some sort of step or something on it. I'm not sure exactly what that is. But under here, it looks like there could be an entrance into something. Possibly not. That could just be part of the fascia that came down. More here, it seems like could be an entrance. Look at how it's got in the middle all this symmetry, all these straight lines. More blocks that have just been blocked off. This block, these, see how, I mean, it's so interesting how these are all blocked out though. I mean, you could just see the patterns in them and see. There's got to be some people that do construction that can look at this and say, yeah, that's definitely something that's been destroyed. This looks like something after you demolish a building that still has some of the stuff around. Alright, look here, more of the circles that seem to just be randomly attached to a lot of this junk that's just laying around. That, let me add the color back to it. And sometimes that just pulls out a lot of it. See, look at this junk down here. Alright, another piece of machinery here. This was perfectly at one time, looks like it was a perfect square, and it's been broken. It's got chipping or artwork or something on it. You could tell it looked like it did something at some time, and maybe had another piece here. That's just what I see. I see what I see. You see what you see. You guys might not see that. You might see something totally different in this stuff. And it's amazing when I watch the first 3 videos. I've watched them, and after I'm sitting there saying, oh, I missed something, or oh, this looks totally different, or Because things like this just don't look like standard rocks to me. They're just laying around out there. It looks like rubble that's just been thrown about. Just like right here, we've got two very interesting things here that look like rubble or something that was built on something. Here you've got this basin that's hollowed out. It looks like you could walk through into it this way. So it looks like another one of these shells that are sitting here. There's one in 3, one in 2. And this one also seems to be buried. See how it's got the dirt here? It comes up over it. But up here seems to have more of that symmetry. And then this big tank, we've been seeing a lot of tanks. This looks like another tank or another perfectly carved out rock. Here you have another perfectly carved something. See how it's got that, let's see, that's probably 120 degrees, something like that angle. More of it looks like it's just sticking up out, and more perfect blocks here, square blocks as it comes. Just more of this rubble and blocks. I mean, like I said, this stuff looks like it's been thrown about. And this comes down to here, and this looks like this would be just a whole nother path. This seems to be another one of these that's just, see how it's got that centerpiece? That looks like it may have rounded all the way out here and been something. These could have been eggs or something for all I know. Like I said, I just randomly say what I see. And here it seems to be more and more that looks more than just regular strata, more than just, regular dirt. This picture was put out, and I know people in NASA saw this and was like, this is awesome. This picture is one of the best. And they call it the rock nest for a reason, and rocks usually don't have nests. I tell you what, there's a lot of this is twigs and stuff that looks like twiggies and all sorts of good stuff. So let me drop that back down. So we go back to looking, and let's go back up here and look at some of the stuff we missed up here along the way as we're coming across. I need to let this sit for a little bit longer when I stop or move from the various things. Let me see, there's not much in this from here to there. This was interesting to me. I'll leave the color on, and as we go across here and take a look at some of the other stuff, just little hills and bumps and humps out there. Um, and then like see how everything's got patterns to it. See this here, how all the stuff runs in that general direction. It looks to be stepped down, with every part of it having stuff. As it comes over here, the steps get a little bit closer, and there's a lot. Something that looks like it was. See how the steps stop here? It looks like a center or entrance point or something. There was an effigy or something there. Maybe it almost looks like an insect to me, like the face of an insect. Um, let's check this out without the color, see what that looks like. More of that shell type. You see how it looks like in the middle it's hollow there up there? And hopefully you can see this thing. I should probably go back and use this to point since we got a pointer on it. More smoothed over rocks. I can tell when they're smooth just because how the shading looks, how different the shading is. And you can see the difference in which pictures are from where. They put this is a collage of a whole lot of pictures. Alright, this area right here has got some good stuff in it. Check this out. More of the 90-degree angles with what looks to be machinery. There was something at one time. Right here seems to have a shape of, it looks like one of them old school bullets you'd see in those old movies from World War II and stuff, or something that munitions from way back in the day, and probably what some of the new munitions look like. I don't, not into the wars and stuff like that, into the whole stuff, but this is a very cool spot here too as well. Just in this little area, there's a lot of interesting stuff. So let me go back up here because we haven't checked this out, and what seems to be more of this stuff, what I would say, shells. That's all I can think of, because look how it comes up, and it's or buildings. This is looks like the remains of walls in a building basically, or something that had this could have been like a beachfront condo right here or something, and the rest of it is everywhere because it was a flood, tornadoes, hurricanes, something, an asteroid impact, a bomb explosion, something happened here on Mars. um, and that's not far off because this is a very far out in the distance. 'Cause, and who knows how big Martian life is, whether it's wee small or huge at any time. Even here on Earth, it's been interesting finding bones of certain things that have lived. We really don't know. We put our evolution is wonderful here. Who knows what evolves on other planets and how they evolve. So, and out here is pretty far away. Like I said, you've got some circular disc tape shaped objects here. And this area seems to be terraced too. Almost looks like it's coming down. And look at the, once again, the perfect straight in the strata there. That could be rock strata. Um, Separating these two, that's not like the other one is perfectly, looks like block and shaped. But they do seem to have the circular stuff again, as always. All these have these circular patterns. My buddy Terry on here says that they're bolts. If you look really closely, they're five-sided bolts. Um, but every little bit you have like a wave of some rubble, but this right here was too cool. This looks like it could be maybe domes at one time or something, but see how there's definitely a break between them here and here. You can see like here and here, there's definitely like a decent break in between them. You can see the light through them. They look hollowed out. This one seems to have some stuff still in the middle of a different color. So, and on this one, there's some interesting stuff with color. There's a, let's see, this did it again, didn't it? Yep. Go back to this. Why this does its whole funky thing. Um, there's some interesting color pieces on here too. I'm gonna show you here. They're down a little bit further. Now check this out up here. This is very interesting. And let's use the. I'm gonna have to get this going again. So here we are. That's the keyboard connecting. Come on, there we are. Back to business. See this here, and when you give it the color, you can actually see that it's domed off. Let me see. Here we go. Just interesting. If it might not be domed off. See how up here it does come around the color. It just could be sticking straight there. It's still an interesting rock. I say the word interesting a lot. Sometimes I sit here and I can't believe you guys watch these videos. You guys are awesome. You know, I love my subscribers. I uh, I find myself saying the same words over again, the same amazement each time I see this stuff. So hopefully you guys get the amazement as I do too. And this stuff is a little blurry up here. And as we go further, we're gonna get into what seems to be better stuff. And man, what I'm going to do is go ahead and speed through a couple of these up here. So we've already gotten a lot of this. Um, we looked at that already. We looked at this stuff already. More patterns. We came down here. We looked at that. There's that little guy again. That's so cool. And then, like I said, this stuff just looks like some sort of machine or some sort of something that was living here. It had all sorts of bones and stuff everywhere. And who knows how when this happened, who knows how it happened, how stuff was thrown everywhere, flood, and then at the end, this stuff seems to be preserved perfectly. You know, very interesting. A lot of great theories on Mars, a lot of great books out there. We've looked at this stuff already, um, and as I'll go through here, there's more of the long cylindrical type pieces to it. Once again, we've also got the blocks. You can see the blocks and how they curve off, and they've been worked by hands. Here you've got something interesting. Let's see. Check that out. That's got almost this been buried, whatever it is. It's a totally different color, the rock. Um, let's go down through here, see if we see anything interesting to point out. Let me give it a little bit more color. Brighten up this one. This is cool here. Check out these. I'm sure I've gotten that with the artifact color. One of these, yeah. So, when you give it the color, it does look even cooler. You can see the depth in it and the perfect lines on it, and how it seems to all fit together, like some sort of accordion or something. More of this stuff up here, just blocks that have been worked. They look like they've been worked. Let's see. Here's a perfect example of one right here that looks to have been worked. Let's drop it off here. See it without the color. Um, Look at the curve in this here and down here on here. It looks like it fits together in some sort of mosaic or something. Um, Even up here, this area seems to have. Let's go ahead and let me bounce out. And let's get all of that and do this little area here with the tone. Check that up there. I don't know if we noticed that, how perfectly smooth that is. Alright, let's do the background color and the auto tone. See what we get. Sure does look almost like Earth when we do this. Let's zoom on in and see what we can do here. Alright. Look at the work in this stonework, whatever it was. It was carved. I mean, it looks like it's in ruin. You know, it definitely needs the archaeologist's touch. I'm sure there are plenty of archaeologists that would see this stuff and would actually open their mind up and look at it. Would love to go up there and see what this stuff actually is. Is it just rock, or is it, you know? what are we going to find when we actually get there? Can we pick through this stuff? Or are there going to be things picking through it already? Um, there's great videos of stuff that moves on Mars that we've done in the past, and you see all these things that could be critters. You know, a lot of these pictures, when the rover takes them, they don't take the same picture twice. They take the snapshot and then keep on moving. So once again, you've got perfect 90-degree angles with stuff that looks like circuit boards. And see how it just comes off? It's got something coming off, and it looks like the rest of it's just gone, missing, cracked off. Like maybe like this could have been part of this. See, like it's been snapped in half. You put these two pieces together. Um, now once again, this thing seems to be built like a machine, and almost looks like the middle of it has just melted out of it and just splattered all along there. Which very well could happen. It seems like whatever happened on Mars was a high heat event, I must say. Um, and then let's take a good look at this stuff here. As this movement, you see more of the circles that look to be smoothed out. Just more blocks that are thrown about. See, I think, who knows how powerful, whatever it was. If it was water or a flood or some sort of liquid that took this stuff up, I'm sure, I mean, it could have carried this stuff anywhere. This stuff could be from, you know, a whole other part of Mars just here. But very interesting. More of these. Look at this here. Just seems to be perfectly cut by the hand of something. Um, just a cool little alcove here. And see, you know, where these right angles are and things crossing, they look like there's stuff that could walk like paths, like stuff has fallen down here, rocks, or maybe things or critters are walking around. On this first number two, those things that look like little weird um, pigs. That's why I call them pigs, but they look like they have armor on, like the armor pigs. They seem weird. Here we go. Here's another artifact. It's just out of place. This stuff looks to have been carved at one time. And like I said, it had a hell of a time. Ooh, looky up here. We got more and more of these perfect cylindrical cannon type things. This one both has a cut in it, which seems to be grooved on two spots. So that's interesting. Um, and look how this is just this one rock out. All these are just kind of grooved out. This looks like the stuff on the other side that was machinery or something just melted or cut in half, just totally thrashed. And then down there we had this. This looks to be maybe a face that's just been worn down. More up here maybe. Um, Look at that perfect cut here. Look at these. These are kind of neat. These zigzag patterns. Wow, that's cool. And this here comes with the stop. Let's see if we could do that real fast. Let's do these couple. Image. Do I still have it back here? Alright, image. Auto tone. Oh, cool. Yeah, see how that comes up and under it in there's hollow. Then you've got this here. Seems to have a little circle in it carved out. This is pretty worked. Just very interesting. Over here it does seem to have little faces. Look at this one coming off of here. And if it's anything like here on Earth, we sure do like to do, especially in the ancient stone workings, they sure did like to do a lot of faces, a lot of effigies, a lot of just weird stuff that we've never seen. But you know, we think people just made that stuff up. Who knows what was here at any given time, especially if we weren't here. You know, all we know is what we've been told and what we see. Now check this one out. This seems to have a perfect cut in it there. That seems to be squared off, this whole thing, and then circled here. That's pretty cool. That's a neat artifact. Just to be sitting there. It looks like it belongs on, put on top of something like a pillar. And that would be the top piece of it. Um, More blocks that are carved up to have that what starts out as like a 90-degree angle. Ooh, look at this here. We've got a pole coming out of here that's got a shadow. Perfect. You can see the shadow. See it here? Let me see if you can mark that up. Let me go ahead and pump that up a little bit. If this, you see more of these poles here too. So what are these supporting or what are they doing? This is just too cool. Gotta love the RockNest. Man, this picture. I tell you what. You gotta love NASA for at least putting some of this stuff out. You know, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people, a lot of times I knock on them, but you know, they do great work. If this stuff is on Mars, and you know, sometimes I have those little things in your head, like, is this really on Mars? You know, but I do, I believe it is. I think we're getting pictures back from there, and very interesting, very interesting. So, all right, let me keep at it because I know we're getting deep into this video, and you came here to see what's there, not to hear me blabber. All right. And let's do image, auto tone. That's what we were doing. Ooh, it stays there. It looks like it's supported with a brace here as well. And there's a shadow. Very cool. more of that there. And over here you can even see that's part of it is a 90-degree angle on this. It all seems to be part of the same thing. And what gets interesting is how it's got everything kind of together. You know, it's all put in the same type of thing. You know, look at it. It's all built together. See how this connects here and what fused this all together. What type of event? You know, it had to have been catastrophic, massive. Um, More of these would seem to be cables going into there. I mean, it's all cables or poles. I don't know what else to call it. Um, this is interesting. It's a kind of interesting braided type rock there. Just cool. Let's see where we're at and what we're doing. All right. All right, let's take a look at this area here. Some cool stuff. Look, yeah, that's cool. Check this stuff out. All right. This one here is neat. Take a look at that. Let's do the, and it cuts off all right at the good part when you see the machinery there starting to take place. Adjustment, auto tune. Look at that. Okay, this is perfectly shaped off, and look how there's some stuff coming out of here that looks like machinery. And look how this has got like wires or something coming off of it. Perfect rounded circles, stuff that it's look at that perfectly rounded, and it's you got stuff in between it. Um, Two perpendicular lines there running the exact same way. And what looks to be starting of a box. And what was this stuff? This machinery is just too cool when you see this stuff. And it extends down to here too. It looks like it's all built, all melted together, and it was built. You know, look at this right here. Is the same type of look to it. Let me see back up. See it? Hollowed out there in the middle. Looks like it's buried into the dirt, and everything. More of it here, rounded off the top. I'd just love to be able to peek into here with a and be able to see what's down in here. Let me see what we can do if we can brighten this stuff up a little bit. Image, auto tone. Look at these perfect ovals, and there's stuff that looks buried into the mess. And anywhere you've got this slag stuff on top that's all melted up, it's got um, what looks like piping and stuff that ran through it. It looks whatever the type of material was, it was different densities or different type, you know, so when it melted, it didn't melt the same rate. It's just too cool. If that's what happened, if it's melt, maybe it's not, maybe it's just built into it. I'm not sure. Like I said, maybe this is just from water damage, but let's see. Look what happens when you add the color. You get to see. We'll look at all this with the color one more time. Let's take a really good look at it. It's pretty neat. More and more of this stuff that looks like, saying this stuff up here, it looks like more and more of the stuff like over in number 2 and 3, especially in number 3. That's where a lot of those machines are in the number 3 video. All right, and we're going to come down to some really interesting stuff here. What looks to be the dog statue here, with some sort of perfect shell or something on the side of it. This looks like at one time this was a very intricate statue. Once it's got a lot of stuff laid out. That slag stuff, it looks like metal that's just been drug across. A lot of hollowed out stuff here. So we're going to take a quick look at this and take a, yeah, see here another more what seems to be parts of statues. It seemed like this could all go together. All this stuff that's perfectly done and carved, like this area that's actually sitting on top, and it looks like it was thrown from somewhere else, I think is all part of one statue. So let me drop the color on it and let's take a look at that. First take a look at the dog statue here and see what we come up with. Image, contrast, we're going to go auto tone. Pretty interesting. If you don't see it already, here's the dog, here's the hair, here's the two eyes, the nose, the snout, the mouth, and as you go down the body, there's the legs back there. It's just the front profile. That's what we call it, the dog. And it seems like it has maybe it had a tail or it was on something. See how this is all cracked up? It looks like somehow this statue was cracked and thrown about this area. Let me see if I can't step backwards. Let me just give this, yeah, there we go. That's just the brightness a little bit. No, you know what? We're going to actually go out and we're going to hit it with the whole thing here so we can take a look at this area with the contrast done. Okay, layer, oh, the auto tone. All right. Because look at this, it just seems like it's part of the same statue. See how perfect some of this stuff is? All right, the dog statue there. Up here you've got more stuff that's there above the ground. Uh, Look here, it's got to be a bowl thing with a circle in the middle. Looks like you could put something in it, or it has something coming up out of it, like it's holding something, like a flower vase or something. Here you've got more of this, what seems to be this thing here. Look how this is perfect. It's got two holes in the cylinders at the end. Um, this is interesting. It's not at the same angle as this. It looks like it's part of the same beat up machine here that's falling apart. You can see here how it's connected and the stuff that connects in it. Like there's like, electricity or something running through that. I think that's some sort of metal here that's been, see how easily it has holes in it like it's been melted? More of these 90-degree angles. And I know 90-degree angles can happen in nature, but when it's all together like this and just kind of, see this here right here, this is metal. Look how see how it's just kind of pulled and bent with the rest of it. That seems like sheet metal to me, or some sort of, maybe, see how perfect this goes back? It goes back to something that's got some sort of wheel, and it gets bigger back here. This is something like a huge statue, or some sort of machine, something. It's attached here. A very interesting finds on this. This was actually sent to me from one of the ladies. All the stuff I'm looking up, I went and found and colored most of the stuff from all your all emails. You guys send me emails, videos, everything. Now, I'm gonna tell you what this looks like to me. This looks like a guy wearing an oriental hat. Here's his nose, eyes, mouth. He's looking straight up. He's got the Marge Simpson looking pearl necklace on, and the oriental hat. You know, that's what that looks like to me. That looks like Chewie, or something. That looks like Chewbacca or something from. I mean, what is that? That looks like the mask of something, like a lion with the mouth here, eyes, nose, the mane. You guys see that? Too cool. And what looks to be a base to it here. Um, Make that bigger. See that? Eyes, nose, mouth, hair, line coming this way, starting. Pretty interesting stuff. Up above there was one other thing I wanted to see too. Up here, see this here? How it's got like something you'd see under the sea. This stuff could all been under the sea. People just dropped this junk down into this. And what it is, it's a big crater. So maybe this was the trash crater where they dropped all the junk. Could have been, at one time. Uncle Jake's junkyard, as my buddy Terry says. All right. Let's keep on moving along here and see more of the other stuff. There's more and more of this everywhere. Alright, let's see where we got to here. Alright, we saw this stuff up here. Okay, let's take a look at some of this here. See this? Looks like a perfect base to something. Tell me that's not cut out. That's perfect. The back is even rounded. It's flat on the top, rounded on the back. That's just perfect. Here we've got more of what seems to be that machinery type stuff. And it's looks like metal that's been just degraded down, just smushed together, and all that. I just lost that thing again. It's getting so annoying with this mouse pad. I need to go buy another one, or possibly see if the batteries are dying again. Um, all right, let's see here. Now we could go through this stuff with a fine-tooth comb and look at everything here, but this is pretty much like what we saw in number 3. You're gonna have, there's a couple of interesting, really, it's like say like that piece right there. Here, see how this looks to be more of a machine, and then this here too on the other side, and it even has stuff that's kind of messed up in between it. It's everything looks kind of broken. Here you've got more. Let's see if we've got any of this. Let's add the color to it so you can see it pull out. More of the stuff out here in front of it. Look at that. It's got a circle and things coming from it. Pieces that look like they all did something at one time. And I think that's going to be the great mystery. We're never going to really know what this stuff did. I think we'll probably never have a person walk here on the Gale crater. We'd probably send them somewhere else on Mars if we do send somebody to Mars. If they're not already there working already, with the secret space program, I'm told by very credible people that we're already working in various areas that we would never believe if you just watch mainstream science and followed, you didn't really, really, really pay attention. And a lot of the stuff you hear too is also hogwash, so you gotta be careful of that as well. Um, so look here, what's this? This looks like some sort of statue area or something. Let me see if I can't get that to look pop a little bit more with the auto tone. Just seems to be carved to me, just an interesting rock. And then up here seems to be something almost like it's a like that Mason symbol. If up at the top had it too, like the compass, or the compass and the I can't think right now. You guys know what I mean. I'm sure if you guys watch this video, it usually would have the G in the middle of it. So let's see here. Let me step backwards. All right. And see how this stuff shouldn't be so blurry. I mean, this is pretty close to the Rover. I don't understand why it's so blurry. Let's go back up here where we saw this part. Come down, see if there's anything else here. We've looked at this stuff, how it's got that same slag stuff. It looks to be part of the same area. Another rock here I thought was cool. This one looks cool even when you add the art. Look, it's pretty neat how it just stands out. I'll leave the color on it. Well, pull off for a second. See how it's got the different color to it? Just cool. This is another, looks like big chunk of this other stuff, and see how it just kind of hangs out together with the, just bam. Totally different from the surroundings. There's chunk of it here, chunk of it there, chunk of it there, just around. And what is that stuff? Is it just regular old rock? I don't know. All right, let me add more circular stuff as we go through here. Let me see. Check that out there. Another head looking thing. Yeah, just add more circular look, come like a head. When you add the color, you can see some of that depth. We got something very interesting up there. Let's see if I got that with the, yeah, I got it with the color. And oh, look at this here. These were cool too. Okay, let's check this out. First, let me hit. See that hump there? I did green so you can see how different it is, the different color, how it pulls out. And look at more of it, how it's all connected. Like either something's walking these paths, or this was something that was connected here. And this all looks to be, this actually looks like something on there that was connected. That actually looks like a little baby person or something, and that's what I think Buddy Reality changed. If you want to go check that stuff out, go hit his page. But look at this stuff. It seems to be something that was connected, like wires or some. It's hard for me to think about what the technology was there, but look at the colors of it, how different it is. And let's check these out here. Look at the symmetry here. This is a perfect triangle with 1, 2, 3 things coming up through it. Let me see this. Artifacts. Wow. Very interesting. Uh, let's just sit there and take that in. Let me make it a little bit bigger. You ever go out and see stuff just randomly in nature with triangles and lines across it like that? They come down to like a little ornamental thing. But I wish this wasn't so blurry. You could see actually what some of this stuff is, and you can't even make that out on some of the billion pixel one. I mean, a lot of that stuff seems just to be really blurred up. But you can get a good idea of what's there, which that's what we're trying to do. Basically, with this RockNest brought so many anomalies in one area that it was hard for me after this to say that, yeah, life was definitely on Mars. And I've said that for a long time just from watching all the videos I've watched, watching all the pictures I've seen. And that's why I linked the pictures for you guys, so you guys can go get them. Look at this. We've got a perfect triangle, what seems to be an effigy of something. Just interesting. Let me see if I can make that a little bit more brighter and step that up. See, even when you brighten it up, still has that cool look to it. And pull that off. Let me add the artifacts. Alright. More of these rocks that seem to be dome shaped over top of some of this stuff. Let's see if I can find the one shape again. There it is. Alright. So we looked at this stuff as it came down. We looked at some of this stuff over here. Make sure we did artifacts. Yeah, we looked at some of this stuff as it came off because this was all part of the grid. And yes, we did. We came down. And I don't know if we got a good check at some of this stuff, so let me just go. If we didn't, look at it one more time. Look how perfect these rocks just seem to be out there, perfectly cut like they made their way over from the other side. And wait till I do this. I'm going to add the, there looks to be something here that's also sitting up over here. Check it out. It looks like maybe a bird or something. Let's see. possible life. See that? How it's just sitting up there, just kind of by itself, randomly. But also here you have, look at all these shapes that are in this here, and what seem to be these curly cues and things like this. When you add the color, when you add it, you can see a lot of it, a lot more, the little curly cues and stuff. How perfect this, just the symmetry is. The actual, this up here looks like it was a buried pyramid under there. I wonder who knows how far that goes. You know, that could be the top of a pyramid for all we know. A lot of these, like, what seem to be 90-degree angles that are perched up. Look at that. It seems to even have a different color face. Maybe something that comes down. Let me make that big on the screen and so you can see it. See? And it comes down, maybe feathers as it goes down. It seems to be propped up on a some sort of stick or something there, a pole. Very well could be. It's sitting there. Either that or it's carved out and it's sitting there, you know. Um, I see what I see. You see what you see, you know. Now, here's an interesting thing. We're going to drop all the color that was added by me, and I put that line in there because there is something neat there. See here, the color of this, how it looks blue and purple and red on its own. That was interesting to me. It almost looks like a utensil of some sort. Um, but look over here, how these have what seem to, like I said, it seemed to be roped off at the end of some of this stuff. I think it's a lot more complicated than what we really know. See how it's blurrier than a lot of it? Um, Another what looks to be ballast that comes up, and it's just going straight down in. Like whatever happened here was strong enough to just throw stuff around and have it, you know, just bounced in sideways and all over the place. Um, what seemed to be effigies of stuff here. See how the blurriness in that kind of does it in, but if you took the blurriness off of it and started working on it, I think you'd find that stuff, like here, let me see if I could do some of it. Let me take the burn tool to it a little bit. See what you got, something that goes up here. See, so whatever it is does seem to be carved. You know, a lot of these things are carved and then they're just blurry. Like up here is blurred, this stuff's blurred, but you've got what seem to be connecting spots. I mean, look at some of this stuff here. This was all part of this other side, and look how it comes up here and it connects. Look at this stuff here. Well, that always goes down. Let me drop the grid so you can see the other side of it. Look how cool that is. It just looks like it's something that had been, I think this part of it, at the bottom part we're looking at, was something like a industrial part. And maybe that the other part, if anything, that up there was a place that they maybe dumped stuff. I mean, this seems to be that, or it was underwater somewhere. Um, Somehow this got a lot of trash and a lot of debris in it, this part of Mars, here in the crater. And it could have been from up on the top life, you know, had a lot of it and brought it down. So what we have here is a huge, massive stone that's part of it, and this picture keeps on going and going and going. It's got so much more stuff to look at on here. So you know, I'm gonna take a quick break. We are at 48 minutes, and I will be right back. All right, I'm back. All right, so we're looking at the RockNest 4. All right, get myself back into this. Okay, now checked out this stuff up here. It was just below the area here that had that interesting looking little guy up here. And what we want to start looking at now is we've looked at this and all the symmetry in these rocks, the little bird looking thing over here that's just standing tall and proud. Look over here on this one here, okay. Look how this runs down along here. It's almost like these were roots at one time and they've been fossilized, something happened to them. Something here has been blurred out of this picture. Notice how the blur mark's there? It's going to stay there when I drop the color. See it? How it just stayed in there like something's been copy and pasted into there. But check this out, how it runs down. You can see it really good with the color added. I mean, it allows you to see some of it. That's why I add the color. You can see, you can differentiate some of the stuff from the other. Like here, you've got just this, you wouldn't really notice how perfect these run together. 1, 2, 3. But anyway, let me get back my pointer so I don't have the circle. So yeah, just follow that along down there. Look how this has some perfect circles in it. This whole area again, once again, just seems to be roots or something that carved, or you know, just something interesting. Here, like I said, whatever this was, we were blurred out and weren't allowed to see. And it just looks like here some entrance to something maybe. This may be part of a 90-degree angle. Um, just a very blurry area there as well. Anything along, just see the normal stuff. Like I said, without the color, this stuff just kind of all blends in together. And then, well, kind of. You can see this looks different. You know, got looks like the rock one, two, three different holes in it there. Um, this here is just how dark this gets. That's suspect to me when it gets real dark. Here, cancel. Let me move that back up and move this and see what happens actually when we brighten that up a little bit. Image auto tone. This is kind of cool over here. Look at this kind of this circle looking head there. But just seems like a big metal slag, and it still has those little pieces that connect it all together, like strands of metal or something that have just been pulled apart as everything has been, you know, slagged together and in whatever happened. I mean, that or it's some sort of tree or root branches. There's so much of it here in one little area that it's hard to think that it got here any other way. Unless there's some sort of natural force that makes long stringy rocks, you know, which I don't know about. I haven't seen, especially in a lot of these. So I'd be really interested to see what, you know, archaeologists think of these rocks as they go through them, a lot of these, and say, you know, what is this stuff? Is it something that looks like it's here? And we've been through that already, looked at this stuff, and this is where we left off on this side. We put the color back on here because we've got some neat chunks again that it's easier just to pull out when you look at the with the color. So let's take a look here at some of the interesting things up around maybe here. More that what looks like to say this strata looks to either have some sort of rock or some sort of metal infused into it, and that's how we're getting these perfect shapes and all these connections, or this stuff was, you know, roots or something to a tree, and everything's just basically has the same, it's all the same color because of the mud. I mean, everything's the same thing. When mud gets on stuff, it destroys stuff. So um, and yeah, so I mean, basically that's what we're looking at. I think everything's the same color, but all the stuff's different. I mean, okay, so let's look at here some of these shield type things. I didn't hit that. That's cool looking. That rock seems to have some interesting carvings in it, or, you know, I say carvings, but something like that might not be carvings. Now let's take a look at some of this stuff. Like right here seems to be another looking perfect circle. Yep, see it. And this seems to be something that was handmade and now it's just buried. It connects to here, I think, because look at this, also looks like a nice looking circle, and it connects to over here, and down here this stuff just looks like machines to me, or cut rock or something. See how perfectly cut that is? I mean, it's sheared straight off. And here you can see it's got compartments. It looks like the head of an engine. It's this, and this looks like the exact same thing on this side and that side, and it looks just right down the middle. Here looks to be curved off. Look at this here. It looks more that what seems to be just metal, or, you know, just kind of pulled out and strung about. More of the this seems to be something just looking straight up. This kind of looks like the face of an alien with their eyes looking that way, but that's just my head and all the old school movies I've seen and stuff like that. Check this out here. This kind of looks cool. It looks like I can't put my name on it. It looks like one of those monsters on a TV show I've seen here and here. Lately I don't watch too much TV or any radio or anything except for talk radio a lot. If I do something, if I'm gonna listen to something, I do that, or documentaries on YouTube. I like them a lot too. Our Family Guy and American Dad, I do a lot of that. They're my favorite. So, all right, now this getting back in over to that big rock I wanted to take a look at over here, and I'm gonna drop the grid because I also want to take a look from here over. So let me use the magic thing, the magic tone adjustment with Photoshop. See if we can't get in here and take a good look at this stuff and see if this looks like machinery that's just been tore up and dropped over here. And we might have looked at this a little bit in the first one too. So we're gonna look, you know, in the first part of this video. We're gonna look again. Seems like just chunks of engine or chunks of something. And I would say if it was rock, I would say, okay, well, what is it? Volcanic rock, something that's got this porousness to it, but everything looks shiny. and it looks like it's worked, and it looks like it's supposed to be like that. It just looks like it has a bunch of dust on it, and it's been part of some cataclysm. Even here, it looks like you've got what seemed to be perfect spacing between these two and these two, because as you get further, it gets smaller, as it would in your eyesight, if you were drawing or if you were doing a technical something. And all that looks together. And look out here, all this looks like it was, put together. This seems to be kind of sheared off. Um, Here, as the bottom part of it, looks to have circles or compartments like the other stuff that look like heads, of a car. Like we went over down here, like that here. It looks like the exact same thing we were just looking at. Let me edit that, edit, undo auto tone. And then we get more and more of this, what seems to be, this stuff to me right here looks like wood that's petrified wood here. See that? That's what that looks like to me. And it's just been, if it's high in CO2 there, it's probably just stuck into the place. But either this stuff is carvings of like, deities or something, or this stuff looks like mechanical stuff. And this here is more in here. This almost looks like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle looking that way. See its head. This would be ear, an eye, nose, kind of its other eye there, and then its mouth. See if you can see that. Probably see that now that I pointed it out. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have saw it. I hate it with the color. See there? Most of these places I hit with the color. I come back. Yeah, this right here. Let me make sure I catch everything that looks cool when I was coming through. Here again, like I said, that we looked at that over there, and I look at this. It looks to be in that horseshoe shape. And let me drop the color so you can see, and it's there, just in that. It looks to be maybe a block type. Sometimes I wonder if some of these blocks were actually poured, like down in Pumapunku and stuff like that. They've got those rounded off blocks, which we've seen in this video and many of my other videos. I wonder sometimes how that stuff gets rounded off like that, if it's done, by man doing it or otherwise. But alright, so we see, let's take a look at some of these other rocks over here that are perfect. This right here is cool. This has got one that's sticking straight up. And look how smooth these are from the sand. That's either the corner of it. It's hard for me to tell on this one. That's either the corner of this rock right here, or that's one sticking up. And I'm more inclined to believe that's probably just the other, the corner of this, just because I don't see any depth image in it. It looks like it just comes right down to there. So I probably shouldn't have colored that corner. So don't mind that. Up here, so that just looks like more of the machinery that's been thrown around. And now let's check this stuff out here. This stuff is pretty cool. And see how it gets a little bit deeper into the dirt. And let me pull up. Let me do that with this area as well. Let's do it here. Image, layer, auto tone. Alright, see if it did anything. Oh, was it wrong? There we are. Perfect. And now let me add this. Now check this thing out here. It's got these two fork-like things that come off, and the two fork things have a shadow, so they are lifted above the rest of it. Let me give it a little color so you can see it. And isn't that interesting there? And whatever next to it, it seems to be some sort of gear or something. That looks mechanical, like a piece of machine to me. This whole little area right here. And even up here, how it has the symmetry in it. What look like wires or roots. I mean, I don't know what else that could be. That nature would do this. See, this is our little circle there. More rounded off circles. Pretty cool. That to me, though, that was a cool anomaly. Let me see if I can make it bigger so you can see it on your screen. For people that are on the cell phones, you see how it just comes out and it's got the circle right there. Interesting. That was one of the cool ones for me. I don't know why. It just looks like a piece of it, like something that was, a cooking utensil or something like that to me. That looks like. There's not much down here in the way of things, just because you're getting into what looks like a part of a hill. And then all of a sudden you get down to this weird looking thing that almost looks like a dinosaur or something. Let's see this? Or like a crocodile. And I know when Anna, my girlfriend, first saw it, she thought that, or she was like, yeah, it looks like a crocodile. And it's with a bunch of weird stuff. So let's take a look at it. And either way, this is too cool. Look around. If this isn't natural, which just seems to be made, this could be natural stuff. Maybe that's why we get, in our bodies we have so many organisms. Imagine if everything was just frozen with CO2 and set somewhere to bake for years and years. Maybe this is what happens after whatever decomposing is done. Um, but look at just around it, you're going to see a lot of weird looking things just in the area around it, anomalies, because these are more up close, so you can actually get in these and see that they're not blurred. So this is the kind of stuff that's all over the picture, um, just kind of randomly there. See how things are very smooth and they've got holes in them, but let's take a look at this first. That has a perfect jagged edges. See, this here has what looks to be some sort of wire or something coming out of the top of it. Perfect edge, perfect edge. Is this, what do you think this is? Do you think this is a piece of machinery, or do you think this is something that was living? Um, Hit below. I mean, we can almost count the holes in here and see, what, and look at these perfect, you know, wires and stuff that come into it. That's all I could subscribe or describe them as, something like wires. I mean, and it will comes down to like a tail here, but seems to interact. I mean, that could very well be, but it also has some of this stuff down here that could just be natural rock. So, and this very well could be a natural rock thing, but honestly, what makes that honeycomb shape? If I don't know, that's too cool. Either way, this here seems to be something on its own. It looks like a big boat or something, maybe. Could that have been a boat? This area does seem to have been underwater at some time. It definitely looks like that could have how a lot of this could have been done. Um, just too cool. And down here you've got some strange looking thing here, just kind of down here in that same honeycomb type thing next to this little bowl. Okay. And you've got more of this connected up, just seem like rocks that are been laid out and strung about, perfectly cut at one time. A base to something it looks like. Just let's see if I put any of this undercolor artifacts. Yeah, I did some of that undercolor. And I got that up there as well too. So let's take a look at this thing. What in the world is this? So yeah, let's go over to the side here. Make sure we get it all. Alright. So this metal stuff comes off here, and what looks to come, what seemed to be carved things over there, seem to continue on to this side. Look at that. Seems to be this. It looks like metal, or like a really like the rock you'd find, the rock that you don't see, and you just see in small pieces here on Mars. You don't see them everywhere like you do here on Earth. But look at some of this stuff that's perfectly like cut out and looks seems to have patterns to it, like gears or stuff like that, like gears and levers and compartments. Or this stuff is either look like people or something was carved and they've just gotten the brunt of time. Um, and they've just been aged over all the years. I can't really, who knows what the date of all this stuff really is. And when you look at it up close, this sure does seem to be more on the way of machinery to me. Like I said, metal that's been melted down, has been twisted up, maybe even very light stuff. Possibly. Look how intricate this is here. Just this little area, how intricate that is. Um, Too cool. Let's see. This stuff is just too cool. Right here, see how it comes up and it's down. Right here, we're looking at up here too, how this comes up and goes down, almost like a shovel. It's part of it. And this comes down with a little squiggly line that connects to this. This here is just sitting there. This has got spikes coming off. This is just an interesting area. Is this stuff gears? What? I really love to hear your comments on this stuff because I didn't really get into this stuff much in the first RockNest videos I did, and the ones I just did before I even made this. Especially I didn't put this out. A lot of people put this as the crocodile. I didn't do anything with that. The dog picture on the other side here I didn't do anything with. So I love to know what you guys think of those couple things. And if I missed anything here, let me know what you guys see. If there's a time stamp that sees something that I totally missed, I've gone through all of the emails I said, and I've looked at everything you guys have sent, and I've caught, like I said, I had hit every single artifact with the color. And at the end of the video, I'll scroll on out, and I'm probably gonna make this available on my website. If you just give me a couple days, I'll make sure that I'm allowed to do it. Um, and then we'll have it for all prosperity, and you guys can add to it, do what you want with it, download it and take it and keep it for yourself. So here you go, check this out. Another what seems to be perfectly shaped block that just has compartments in it, stuff that seems to be interwoven and interconnected. Looks like it was connected to this piece right here that was possibly part of the machinery. This over here seems to be maybe part of it as well. Look at the different style and color of the rocks. This seems to have that other metallic color to it, that gray. This has the light gray. Oh, check that out. Perfectly cut bevel around it, then a perfect spear in the middle. Was that a button for something, or was that an eye? You know, part of me sometimes sees this stuff and says, all right, maybe this stuff were effigies, and maybe this was a beautiful temple. And then I look more at a lot of the stuff, that looks like the machinery, and I say, well, no, this is more. Yeah, I'm back and forth, Why couldn't it be all? If this was just a civilization, I mean, if it was just like any old city in America or across the world, you have your different factions, different areas. If that was all just brought together in a big pile of junk, um, this is what it would look like, you know. Um, More of what seems to be just very symmetrical work to it. 90-degree angles, perfect ovals, more 90-degree angles, and every piece of this here. Look at this. Look at these pieces right here. Just kind of this side and this side seem to have the same height. You could see how this goes across right there. You could almost do that at each spot. Um, And see how blurry this stuff really up close is? Why is this stuff blurry? This should be some of the sharpest stuff of the picture here, especially because they're mosaics and they're put together by some. Ooh, look at the stuff we're getting into now. All right, tell me this stuff just isn't a machine. Well, look back here. Let's take a look right there and let's give this a little bit of color. Tone. All right. Oh, cool. More 90-degree rounded angles there. It would seem to be more the same type of machinery. Over here, it comes up here. All this stuff here has them. See them? And you guys know me, I love 90-degree angles. They're all um, more. Look at the circles on this thing. Oh, look at this up here. It's flattened off. It looks like it has a button up at the top. Comes down. More compartments. More looks like metal slag. And this too. Wow, look here. More of just the what look to be roots. When they say rock nest, it looks like a nest. It looks like a very fine nest of metal or something that's been here and built. Look at this here, how it comes off, and there's different pieces of it. Look, this doesn't go straight down. I mean, this is just hanging off of there, and there's a shadow under it. So see how the shadow runs here and there? Let me get the little pointer so you can see a little better what I'm saying. It runs here and here under it. So that's up above it. Look at this. Looks like the head of something, a statue that's just been lost there on the ground and broken up into pieces. No way do I think any of this stuff is functioning. Whatever it is, it's long gone. It's a relic of the past. Look at this perfect circle there. Looks like an O-ring of something that belonged in one of these machines. Like I said, if you flip this over, that does look like a little alien bust. And then look at this stuff. What do we have here? Oh, look at that. Cool. And see how some of this is blurry? Oh, sorry about that. This stuff should not be that blurry. There we are. That's what I want to do. Sorry about that. Alright. See that there? That little round thing? That's perfect to me. Um, but let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to go image, auto tone. See if I could brighten that up. I just want to take a look at this rock right here. And see where that circle is? How it's got these perfect 90-degree angles right here, just like some sort of machine would. This is, I mean, this is as good as it gets for some of the stuff. For people who are really looking to see if something else was somewhere. I mean, to me, all this information combined is just too overwhelming to say no. Um, if you've watched all four of these videos and you haven't got anything from it, I don't know what else I could do to point it out to you. Look at this perfect cut here, how this goes up and it's around. That's cool. It's beveled. See how the other part of it's there? It's beveled. See, I think it was all perfect like this at one time. Perfect cuts. And a lot of it, this has either been um, done on purpose by, just blurring it out, or, like I said, time and stuff has done it. There seem to be more blocks. A lot of these ones that are sticking straight up like triangles there. Look at this right here. We haven't got a chance to check this one out yet. Alright, image, auto tone. That's pretty cool. To me, that looks like a fort or something. Look, you go straight. See, you go straight into there. It's hollowed out. engine or something. This is some piece of machinery, something. See how up here, either that or this is some sort of Ford or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, it looks like engine to me. That's when I see something like this, I see engine. Um, Perfect circle. It comes out, it goes into this circle here too. So it's not, that's what gets me on it. And look at this here. Look how that comes out here, and it comes out and it also has a shadow under there. That's too cool. And it seems to be part of. And here's another reason why some of this, all this, a lot of the stuff is laying different directions. Like up here is where we're gonna have that dog. That dog thing should be right here somewhere. Where you at, doggy? Here, doggy, doggy, doggy. There it is. There's a dog statue up there we saw. Um, a lot of this all, like you said, stuff is going different directions. Like where you have a bunch of stuff that looks connected to each other, like right here. See how it's all running in the same direction? Like this was all part of this piece right here. Um, like this was something that either crashed or was here, a building, part of something. But look, see, look at this. Look at the intricate, perfect, perfect cut there. It's not even. It's. Let me do this with the. Not even cut, but built. I mean, two things that follow each other perfectly, perpendicular there, right next to each other, going straight up. Um, and it's all on the same exact angle. And look, it's just that. Look how the stuff is carved in here. It looks like this all has the mud and stuff has all been just built up on it. See how it's gotten up here in the middle of it, more of it, and buried it. But even up here, where this part of it is, it goes straight back, and it's on that same angle. Look at these. Look at the straight lines here that go with it. This is some of the best. This is some of the best stuff. I mean, this is you couldn't ask for more. I mean. It's all on the same angle. What it is, I'm not sure, but it definitely doesn't look naturally made. It has all these shapes in it, very metallic. They seem to be, like I said, destroyed like most other stuff, but some of the stronger material seems to have stayed. Um, let's see what else we come up with right in this area. And this stuff right here should be crystal clear. There's no reason this is it's not crystal clear. This should be as clear as it gets. Let's see if the burn tool helps at all with this stuff. This is Robert Purnell's trick. They do a lot of this, and one of my guys, a couple of the guys that do some of the videos that are my friends on here that I've done some videos turning on to, they do a lot of this, and it pulls out a lot of the stuff that's there that's blurred out by the camera. Just taking the picture, it pulls out a lot of the like the lines and stuff in it. So you can see, I mean, it's got the perfect symmetry in it. It's got all that, the perfect lines what seem to be there. This stuff definitely seems to be part of something. And right here, it shouldn't be this blurred. It shouldn't be that. The Rover shouldn't be a couple inches from something that's so blurred. Let's check this out here. Let me put this. This here looks cool. This looks like the vertebrae of an animal that's been chopped off with two sections here. Bam. Next to more and more of this stuff that just seems to have been melted, slag, moved around. Let's see anything else in this little area. We looked at that. That stuff we just had brightened up. See how it's kind of down in this little hole here. More stuff here that's got perfect symmetry. Look, 2 compartments with one big one coming here. Another one here that matches this here. This all looks like it would go together. And then, like I said, debris fields that kind of go with each other, the shape of each other, just follow the whole thing. And would seem to go all the way up to here, possibly, and around. See, this whole thing right here looks like a debris field. So, alright. Oh, anything else on here that I wanted to see? Here we are, here too. More pottery that's just been exploded. See this here? It's got the bevel in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it broke off on 5. See how perfect that is? It's got, let me make it bigger for you guys. And this would, I'd love to see what it would be connected to. It's got another, what seems to be one of those tank looking things there. But check that out. It's got up there 1 line and then 2, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. I would imagine this would be a fairly big something if it all connected together. It looks like it was circular by the way it comes in here. Um, so just pretty cool. Thought that would be an interesting one. Let me see if I got the color on it. Yeah, and this the ones next to it. Another hollow looking rock there. This one's pretty cool. This is something up there. You can tell that's been blurred up a little bit, but this right here, this triangle one. Notice the like the different color under it. How it's got like these circles into it. As I keep losing that pad, I don't know why that keeps happening. I think my batteries are going dead on it. Um, but more, let's see if we can brighten this one up. We didn't get a chance to see this one too much, so let's brighten this up a little bit, see what happens. Image, auto tone. It helped a little bit. Let me do image color on it too. Image, auto color. Not much there. But look at the perfect circles. This seems to be something that was blurred. See that, how it's got the blur mark right there from what seems to be Photoshop. Like if I were to blur something, it just looks just like that. Here's more oval shape to it. As you go down, we've looked at all this stuff already. More what seemed to be just machinery or something that was here as it happened. Wrong place at the wrong time. Bam. More and more of it. Let's see, that perfect circles, all this stuff. Lots of stuff here to look at. Lots of stuff on the RockNest pictures. One of my favorites right here. Some of the stuff here is great. Let me do the auto tone. And to see how that turns from that mucky ugly to just what really the color really looks like. This beautiful metallic color, this metal. Um, and even when it looks dirt, you can still see materials in the dirt. It looks like roots, stuff here that was definitely living here, some of this stuff at one time. I will say that through all these, there definitely looks like there's fossils here. It looks like there's fossils all over Mars where we've gone with these rovers. That we found them in almost every opportunity, spirit. They're not hard to find. You just got to look. Um, just like this stuff isn't hard to find, where you've got the perfect symmetry. This looks almost like a face here, or it could be a Y and H, just some kind of writing in the make of it. And that wouldn't be too far-fetched, because if you see how these are opened here, this almost looks like a pattern to something like an entrance or something telling, you know, what this is or what it's about in language terms that aren't, you know, that aren't actually language, just in pictures. So interesting looking rock there. These two cube look rock with something that looks like it's in the picture. Just see how this comes up and it looks like it's connecting what it's actually in the picture. So and like I said, as you get into these rocks, you'll see them. And say RockNest, check out the build. Say if you don't want to download the big picture here, go grab that. Just go to. I'm gonna try and find the link and put it on the one here, so you guys can go to the billion piece, because there's a lot on there, and it's got a little better resolution. But you could check this up. You could take the one picture I'm gonna put on my website up with all the links and the colors, and go back and look that way. Um, Very interesting picture indeed. If you hung with me through this, I can't believe it. You are some of the best subscribers. You know, hit like, hit comment. If you hung through this, let me know you hung through all of them. I'd love to know who you guys are that did it. And as we zoom back in and look at the perfect colors of what seems to be water or possible um, dampness at the bottom of this beautiful mountain, and among all the junkyard rubble here on Mars, my name is Will Farrar. I'm at WhatsUpInTheSky.com, WhatsUpInTheSky37. Much love to you for watching this. Much love to NASA for putting these pictures out and giving us a chance to even do this. And keep putting these rovers up there, guys. Take it easy. Much love.